2009 season was an up-and-down season for the Twins. After being 45 and 44 at the All-Star break, the chances of the Twins making the playoffs was very slim. Their chances grew even slimmer as they entered September, being 7 games down. As the last month of the season progressed, people stopped watching the Twins and went on to watch the Vikings games instead. Going into the last 4 games of the season, the Twins were down by 3 games, making tying the division lead a nearly impossible feat. It looked as though the last season in the Metrodome was going to be a dud and the Twins would leave without a whimper to their new stadium. But hold the phones. The Twins swept the Royals and the Tigers lost 3 out of their last 4 games. This meant that the Twins and Tigers were tied at the top of the American League Central, and a 1-game playoff would have to be played for all the marbles. This game will always be remembered as Game 163.
Alright, Game 163, 2009. I'm a freshman at Bethel, and I don't remember much about the game because there's so much crazy stuff going on, but I remember an emotional roller coaster, and I remember Carlos Gomez sliding into home for the winning run and everyone going nuts.
October 6, 2009 was a very overcast, rainy day. The game started at 4:07 p.m. on a Tuesday, so that meant that most kids did school early to get to the game.
I went with some buddies from school, and we actually skipped classes to go down to the game, and it was a lot of fun. And the game was great. It was probably one of the greatest games I've seen in my life.
The game started out in favor of the Tigers after Meglio Ordonez knocked a run in the first, and Miguel Cabrera hit a 2-run home run in the top of the 3rd inning. It was already looking grim for the Twins as they were down 3-0 after the top of the 3rd inning.
I was going nuts. Let's see. There's multiple times in the game when I definitely thought the Twin season was done, especially because we lost Game 163 the year before at Chicago. I wanted this game real bad, and I remember Miguel Cabrera, I don't even know what inning, but he hit a 3-run bomb, and my head was in my hands, and I was like, there's no way we're gonna win this.
Twins answered by scoring a run in the bottom of the 3rd on a fielding error, and in the 6th with a Jason Kubel solo home run.
The growing excitement grew even bigger as Orlando Cabrera homered in the 7th inning to put the Twins up 4-3. But the Tigers answered back in the 8th, with Meglio Ordonez striking once again with a solo home run to tie it.
The atmosphere was absolutely crazy. We got there in about the 4th inning, and it was just louder than you could imagine. Anytime the Twins got a hit, Ryan and I would try to say something to each other, but it was just so loud that you almost had to text it or yell in each other's ear. But it was just the craziest baseball game I'd ever been to in my life. Unfortunately, I had to leave in the 9th inning because I had play practice, so I didn't see the end. I just heard it on the radio, and it's probably the biggest regret in my entire life.
In the 10th, Brandon Inge drove in a run and put Minnesota against the wall as they were up 5-4. In the bottom of the inning, Kadir tripled past a diving Rayburn and ended up scoring on a Matt Tolbert single, tying the game once again. The next few innings were filled with unbelievable fielding plays, like Rayburn throwing Casilla out at home plate, which would have been the winning run.
Every time the Tigers would take the lead, it wasn't kind of like, I think we're going to lose. It was like, I wonder how they're going to tie the game now, especially in extra innings. It's like I never at any point felt like we were going to lose. I think the whole game I felt like we were going to win no matter how many times the Tigers would go up a run or two. I just had a feeling we'd come back and win.
I remember by about the 4th inning, I had a massive headache for the rest of the game just because it was so loud in there, and I got dizzy a few times. I had to sit down. It was nuts. By the end of the night, my ears were both popped. It was noise levels that I've never been accustomed to before.
The most memorable play, though, happened in the bottom of the 12th inning, after Carlos Gomez and Delman Young got on. Casilla stepped up to the plate and hit a single between the second baseman and the first baseman. as Gomez flew around third and slid into home. The dome erupted. People were high-fiving people that they didn't even know and hugging other people's children. It was utter chaos and happiness at the same time.
During the game, I was happy most of the time. A little nervous at times for the Twins, but they came back and pulled it out, so I was happy.
My mood during the game, just sheer pandemonium. It was crazy. I remember after the game texting about 10 people, just saying how crazy it was, and my phone was just going off, just a ton of people saying how sweet the game was, all my family members. Yeah, it was definitely well worth going, and I was very blessed to be able to be at that game.
And yeah, it was a great game. Ended up going to extra innings, and Alexi Casilla got a hit, I think, in the 11th inning. Just barely got through the middle of the infield, and we had Carlos Gomez on the base paths, who was running, who was one of the fastest guys probably in baseball at the time, and definitely on our team. And he ended up scoring a winning run, and all the Twins ran onto the field and went nuts and started doing laps around the stadium, giving people high fives and stuff, and the crowd was just going crazy for probably about 5, 6, 7 minutes, I don't know, but Homer Hankies were waving, and it was probably the loudest I've ever heard in a stadium or at any game I've been to. So
I wish I would have known David Freed at the time, because I would have given him a massive hug after the game.
Yeah, we probably would have embraced for years after that. I can remember leaving the stadium and everyone just screaming.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
High-fiving people you didn't even know.
Like, woo! Everyone out there.